All right, this is our latest episode of True Wrestling Fans Discussions. A little bit change of pace. We're going to be doing like a top 10 series, covering the wrestlers' top 10 matches. And the guy that's going to kick it off is the Ultimate Warrior.
Definitely.
All right,
Who better?
yeah. So, Warrior gets kind of a bad rap that, he wasn't a great wrestler.
You think?
And I mean, listen, he wasn't the greatest worker, but he was who he was. We didn't watch Warriors matches for technical ability, right?
I didn't want to see him put a sharpshooter on
Yeah,
somebody. Let's just
right,
put it
right,
like that.
right.
I
We
wanted to
just
see him kick ass and take names.
exactly, which is what he did, which is what he did maybe better than anybody.
Definitely.
So, the first match is not a singles match, but it's one of my personal favorites. It's the Survivor Series 1990 Team Warriors versus Team Perfect.
Which we talked about that
Yeah,
actually was supposed to be Rick Rude
right,
on
right.
that
It could have
team
been
with
Rude,
just
yeah.
two members of Demolition, but he
Hmm.
had left. So now we have all three members of Demolition with
Right,
Perfect.
right, right. But it was still awesome, man. And
It was
you had Ultimate Warrior, Texas Tornado, and the
Legion
Legion
of
of
Doom.
Doom, aka the Road Warriors, and it was all the Warriors.
Yeah.
Because remember, Kerry Von Erich was the modern day Warrior when he was wrestling down in Texas, right?
Hmm.
Ultimate Warrior and Road
Road
Warriors,
Warriors.
and then you have Mr. Perfect, one of the all time greats, Demolition, perhaps arguably the greatest tag team of all time.
Definitely.
So I
Not
just
at this
have
point, unfortunately.
yeah, I just love that match. It had all the guys with the face paint. You had all these great wrestlers. I don't know. It was just to me, it's one of my favorites. I don't know how
It
you
is.
feel. Yeah, it's
I mean, Axe wasn't up to snuff in that match, which is
unfortunately,
why
yeah,
he got the early exit. Um, the Legion of Doom and the Demolition saving face with each other, getting the double disqualification,
yeah.
which led it to being down to Perfect versus Tornado and Warrior. Tornado telling Warrior, "I want him," and Warrior's over there, banging on his head, going, "All
Hmm.
right, fine, you can have it." I thought he was going to knock him out. And it gets down to Perfect and Warrior, and it just proved that Perfect belonged in that type of match with the main eventers, and we've
Hmm.
discussed that periodically that he deserved it, and that was one of the great matches, and that was the one and only year. Remember, they did the grand finale.
Hmm.
So now
Yeah.
Warrior went
So
on to the grand finale match, which was 3-on-5.
yeah,
But that match, you're right, it was one of the best Survivor Series matches I've seen.
yeah, definitely. And they kicked it off, and it was the opening match too.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
wondering why the WWE champion is kicking it off when so many other matches could
But it
have.
was great, man. It was a great way to do it, though, because it was surprising. I remember watching this live. Um, I was surprised to see that was the opening match. So it kind of just set the tone, like for a great pay per view, great match. I love the promos leading up to it because the Warrior was out of his mind, and Kerry Von Erich, Texas Tornado, he was kind of like laid back, cool guy. But
Yeah.
then Hawk and Animal were crazy too. So it just fit. It just fit.
Imagine if they
Yeah,
would have put all these guys in the stable together.
yeah. Would have been
Oh
something. Would
boy.
have been something else. All right, so we're going to number 9. Okay, Ultimate Warrior versus Macho Man Randy Savage, but this is SummerSlam 1992. Uh, whenever you got Warrior and Macho Man in the ring, you can't really go wrong. Was it as good as, you
The
know,
original never.
of course not. You were never going to duplicate that. And I didn't really care for the outside, the whole Ric Flair thing.
Yeah, who's on whose side?
Yeah,
You've bought my help. I've bought your
right.
help. I mean, that was just getting Ric Flair to be involved on the card when he should have been wrestling it anyway. I don't
Yeah.
understand why he wasn't.
I think they said Flair had some health issues or something like that. I don't know. Either
Yeah,
way.
health issues. Being halfway through the match, he's gotten so getting involved. Yeah, health
Yeah.
issues.
But overall, I still thought it was cool. I like the entrances. I like that, they had I like the build leading into it because they
Yeah.
always had good chemistry. Warrior and Macho Man always had good chemistry together,
Oh
and,
yeah.
and Warrior and their matches were always good. And then at the end,
They
nobody,
they sold the knee injury, which
yeah,
was legit in 1992. He did have a series of knee
all right,
problems, but it wasn't enough to have to put him on the shelf.
mm-hmm,
So he was able to get through it. So they used that during the match, and it doesn't end with a pinfall, which is fine because both of them save face. Savage keeps the title, and so yeah, you're like you said, it wasn't going to live up to the first one rather. Sorry, but at least London, Wembley Stadium got to see
right,
this in person They didn't get to see the first one because it was a WrestleMania 7. So I mean, that main eventing SummerSlam 90, well, not co-main eventing, I'll put it like that, was pretty good.
Right, yeah, for sure. All right, so now number 8. So Warrior versus Rick Rude, and this is the SummerSlam '89. This is the rematch.
I like this one
for the IC title. Great match. Remember, Rude was the only one that beat Warrior. He pinned his shoulders.
So Bobby Heenan had no participation in that whatsoever. What are you talking about?
Yeah. No. Fair and square, clean. But no, great match. Rude is another guy that Warrior just couldn't have a bad match with the guy.
If there was anybody out there that can sell a Warrior beatdown, it was Ravishing Rick Rude. Mm-hmm. When he tried to, after it all, and he's doing his shimmy and he's holding his back. I mean, the way you see him take a bump from the Warrior, you think, how is he still standing?
Right.
Because the way he sold it, like he just got thrown through a brick wall. I mean, he was the best at it, and unfortunately he only got on pay-per-view. He only got over on Warrior once. We've talked about house shows before they were both known that he did it more. But this particular, the rematch, I think, was a lot better than the first. And forget the Roddy Piper interference, Moon and Rude and whatnot. These two put on a clinic in that ring. Yeah. And Warrior winning outright and capturing back the Intercontinental title was just amazing. I mean, they did a really good job in the ring that night.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so on to number 7. Okay, so Ultimate Warrior versus Hercules at WrestleMania.
The grudge match.
Yeah, and it was the two powerhouses colliding. They had a good build-up leading into it. The two just strong men, going at it. Warrior almost falls down the stairs when he's running. Because it was the staircase was like very, it was very narrow and everything.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
I'm surprised somebody didn't in those 2 years they were there.
Seriously. But even though, neither guy was a technical guy, just the visual of it, these two larger-than-life characters coming together head-to-head.
It was. I don't care that if it wasn't a technical wrestling match. I mean, these two guys were bar fighters. They were brawlers. They're going to beat the hell out of you. They're going to snap chains and
that was the thing. I was going to get to that, the snapping of the chain.
Which was awesome. I mean, that was just, it was unheard of. And
as a kid watching that, you're just freaking out. Like, it's unbelievable.
That match, in my mind, and I've said this, that started the Ultimate Warrior's ascent to the top. Mm-hmm. Because 4 months later, he's in the IC title picture, by design because Beefcake's injury. But still, I think he would have been there anyway. This started his push.
Absolutely. Okay, number 6. Now, this isn't a pay-per-view. This is one of my favorites, a fantasy matchup too. I wish we would have gotten a pay-per-view. It would have been unbelievable. Warrior versus Undertaker, Rampage 1991, body bag match.
Same one at the Garden too.
Yeah. So it's.
Was this the one that technically Warrior beat him?
Warrior beat him, yeah.
This is the one.
I'm pretty certain the Rampage of 91 was the one where Warrior actually beat him.
Because they had 3 total body bag matches, and Warrior did put him in it once.
Yeah, somebody correct me if I made a mistake, but I'm pretty certain that it's.
I thought it was Madison Square Garden, but again, I could be wrong too because it's so long ago and our brains aren't as good.
All right, I didn't bother to look it up. Anyway.
But I do know that Warrior does hold a victory over the Undertaker with that. They were great matches.
But either way, so the thing back then was I don't know how you remember it. I didn't even know they fought. I go to my local video store, Captain Video, which no longer exists, obviously. You remember Captain Video?
None of them do.
There was a few of them in Brooklyn.
There was that, and I remember what was it, Castle Video, and
there was so many.
Video. There was so many.
But Captain Video, there was like 2 or 3 of them. The one that I used to go to was in Sunset Park. It was on. My uncle owned the real estate right next to it. It was on 49th. It's on 49th Street and 5th Avenue in Sunset Park. And I remember seeing the cover, and I'm reading, Undertaker fought. I had no idea, because if you didn't go to like these live shows, sometimes you didn't even know, even though they kind of advertised.
They advertised the house shows
during Superstars, right. But I didn't even know.
They had never advertised this.
And I rented it, and I was like, and this was like the 2 unstoppable forces coming together.
Exactly.
You know, so it was really cool to see, and I thought it was a good
Why
match.
they never put it on a pay-per-view?
Well, I think,
I'll never know.
but that had more to do with the Warrior getting fired, and unfortunately,
Unfortunately,
yeah,
because I mean,
otherwise, eventually,
even SummerSlam that year, if it would went differently, those two, but Taker was in the storyline with Savage, and there was a whole lot going
yeah.
on, so it wouldn't have been right away.
But it was well done, and they liked each other. Undertaker and Warrior, they got along. Warrior had a lot of respect for Undertaker, and vice versa.
Lord Alfred Hayes was doing the commentary
Yeah,
on that
that's
one. I
right.
do remember
Yeah.
that.
Yep.
Him and I think Sean Mooney.
Yep. Yeah.
Which I never cared for the two of them because back then you were always used to Monsoon and Jesse, and then it was Bobby Brain Heenan took over. So when you start watching these Coliseum videos and you get Sean Mooney and Lord Alfred Hayes, you're like, why am I listening to these two? I'm gonna mute this.
Going on? Yeah.
I'll just watch the match.
All right, so our next one. All right, so number 5, which is the Ultimate Warrior versus Ravishing Rick Rude, WrestleMania 5.
Original.
Yeah, the original match. Which to me it has a special place. In my heart because it was WrestleMania. I remember watching this live at my uncle's house. I used to watch most of the pay-per-views at his house, and I was so shocked when Warrior lost, man, because of Bobby Heenan, but still. And I remember this is funny because I remember this. I still think that wrestling is real at this point. I don't know.
I think every kid at that age
right.
kind of thought that.
So I still think that it's real. So I'm like going crazy that Bobby Heenan cheated, man. I'm yelling at the TV and I'm like, Bobby Heenan's a cheater. Warrior should have won, but like we were talking about, Rude before. Tremendous chemistry. The bumps that he used to take, he made the Warrior look like $1 million, man.
They had a great story build up leading up to it, starting at the Rumble with the pose down.
Mm-hmm.
And leading forward to WrestleMania. I mean, these guys just put on a clinic in the ring. And Warrior losing like this, we've talked about it. What other way could you do it that he still saves face, that technically he wasn't beaten clean?
Yeah.
I mean, how many people can you honestly say have beaten Warrior clean? Because I can't think of one.
Yeah, exactly.
Slaughter didn't beat him clean. No. Rude didn't beat him clean. Hogan didn't beat him clean in WCW. I mean, it's never been. I don't think it's ever been done. Yeah, to be honest,
I don't think so. Somebody let us know. I don't think it happened.
I can't think of it, to be honest.
But
every match I see Warrior, I see him winning. Yeah. Or if he's lost, it's because of some sort of outside interference.
Yeah, for sure. Great match. Okay, number 4 is the Ultimate Warrior versus the Honky Tonk Man at SummerSlam. Now, despite the fact that this match is so short, it's just up there because it was supposed to be, if anybody knows the backstory, it was supposed to be Brutus the Barber Beefcake versus Honky Tonk Man. And Brutus was supposed to go over and get the title, but he gets injured. I think they did the storyline with was it Cowboy Bob Orton that used the who was it that used the thing, the heel spurs that cut him up?
Yeah.
And that's
I think it was him because he was still around.
Yeah, but Brutus gets his face. That's what they used.
Oh no! It was Outlaw Ron Bass.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, it was Ron Bass.
Well, same difference. Outlaw Ron Bass. I remember he cuts him up on TV, and that's what they used. He was really hurt. It wasn't that, but for storyline purposes, it did.
So it started with him cutting Bass's hair.
Yeah, I think it was on the Brother Love show. I think.
Yeah,
it was on the Brother Love show. Yeah, so then, Honky Tonk Man's in the ring running his mouth. He's like, I challenge anybody in the back. And who was this? Was it Billy Graham? That was like, you better watch what you say.
There's a bunch of guys back there that can take this man apart.
And you just hear the music.
And he goes, that's familiar music, brother. And the whole place, it took him a second, but when they realized whose music it was, that Madison Square Garden went off the chain.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And he just came in there like a house of fire. Honky, there was nothing he could do.
He still had the belt on, right? Honky Tonk Man, I think, still had the belt on. And
Honky still had his outfit on.
He still had his outfit, yeah, the jumpsuit.
He got pinned in his jumpsuit.
Yeah.
I mean, this was a 90-second match. He came in, he conquered, he left with the belt. Goodbye, I'm done.
Yeah, and that was officially Warrior had arrived.
Yes.
That was official.
And the end of the Honky era.
Yeah.
The 64 weeks. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Ultimate
memorable. It'll always be remembered.
That's because nobody's going to break it.
Nope. All right, so number 3 on the list is the Ultimate Warrior versus Ravishing Rick Rude, SummerSlam 1990 steel cage match, which is considered one of the greatest steel cage matches of all time.
Mm-hmm.
So one of my personal favorites. The build up to this, man. We spoke about this before. With it was like Rocky Balboa, where Rick Rude was training, and Bobby was basically playing Mickey. Right? You see him training on the beach. You see him in the gym. You see him boxing.
He really blew up as far as the muscles. He cut his hair. He wasn't doing the Playboy persona anymore. He was for real. He was trying to show WWE, I can be that man that Hogan thought I couldn't be.
Yep.
And to be all honest, he was right. I mean, that was a great main event. I was weary that night because I really thought that they were going to snub them and put Hogan and Earthquake in the top spot.
Right.
And I was so glad they didn't.
Yeah.
Only because it's the Ultimate Warrior and Rick Rude in the cage for the title.
We spoke about this in Warriors episode. You still felt like Hogan overshadowed that whole pay-per-view because it felt like all they were building was Hogan's return.
Hogan's return, yeah, from Earthquake.
Fight Earthquake, and it still kind of overshadowed it. I felt
that's why I think the card should have been the match should have been down the card more for Hogan, not right before the main event.
I don't think Hogan should have even been on that card, if you ask me personally. But I understood why they did it because Hogan was still a draw. But I felt like you're kind of in a way you're kind of sabotaging Warriors run.
If they would have had the monthly pay-per-views like they do now back then,
they could have.
I don't think Hogan would have been on the card.
That's true.
Think he could have been the month before or the month after. But seeing as how it was 4 months since WrestleMania, it was limited. Yeah. And you want to get the biggest draw, especially if they were in Philly. So you want to get the biggest draw you can. So putting that on there, and it wasn't labeled a double main event, thank God.
No, thank God, yeah. Speaking of Philly, I like when Rude says the home of Rocky. He says the home of Rocky Balboa, and
he was. They did the vignette. He was up on the stairs.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was running the stairs.
Yeah.
It was great, and I just wish that the feud could have gone longer, and Rude would have now stuck around because now everybody could take him seriously.
Yeah. And
unfortunately, a few months later, he did a couple more house shows, and then right before Survivor Series, he was gone.
Yeah, that was it.
And WCW bound, and WCW knew that they had something, and they utilized it.
Yeah.
For the short time that they had him.
Yeah. But great match.
It was. Any Warrior Rude match was.
Always. Okay, so number 2. Now, number 1 and number 2 are kind of interchangeable. To me, you can't go wrong either way. You might agree with this, you might not. But I'm going to put number 2.
What do you got as number 2?
Hulk Hogan versus the Ultimate Warrior.
I'm with you.
WrestleMania 6.
And I know where your number going at. Number
you already know what number one.
I totally agree with it. Exactly. Yeah. I totally agree.
But number 2, man, which could be number 1. It's probably number 1 on a lot of people's list. Like I said, interchangeable. But Warrior versus Hogan, WrestleMania 6, champion versus champion. The 2 most unstoppable forces in professional wrestling. The 2 biggest stars. I don't even know what else can you say about the babyface
versus icon.
Babyface versus babyface.
Babyface, first time ever.
2 guys that you can't picture either one of them losing.
The irresistible force against the immovable object. I mean, you can go on and on.
They built it up through the Royal Rumble when they went face to face.
Tagging up, hitting each other.
Stuff on the main event superstars. Yeah.
And I mean, this was just built to excellence.
Mm-hmm. And we've talked about the match before in Warrior Series. We talked about it in the WrestleMania 6 review. So we don't have to get into the whole details of the match. I'm sure everybody's seen the match, but just tremendous, man. Just a tremendous match. They pulled it off. I mean, Hogan did a great job, because Warrior was still kind of green. He wasn't, he wasn't as seasoned as Hogan was. So to Hogan's credit, he made sure that match went really, really well, and Warrior did his part. Mm-hmm. And great ending. Obviously, we know what happened. Ultimate Warrior wins the title. He holds both belts up. Hogan sort of passes the torch.
I did like the respect that Hogan gave him when he took the belt and he brought it into the ring and he handed it to him. That was a tremendous amount of respect. That and I don't know if that was Hogan doing it or Vince said, "Hey, you got to do this."
Okay, so
at the end of the match.
Hogan told a story, and I didn't mention this before because I forgot. But Hogan told the story about how that was his idea, and that initially he was planning on turning heel, and he was going to go in the ring and he was going to knock out
That's what Ventura
Warrior.
said.
I don't believe that. I don't believe that story.
I don't see him going
And
heel at the. No, Hulkamania was
no,
still prime in everybody's eyes. I mean, come on.
and he said that it was his idea to give Warrior the belt, and that they didn't want him to give Warrior the belt, and he just snatched the belt from whoever the timekeeper was. But
Yeah,
when
it looked like a heel move, like almost because Ventura had said something like, "Look, Crybaby, he's taking his belt,"
yeah, but
and that's what it looked like in the beginning. But
when Hogan tells a story, you got to take everything with a grain of salt. But
I,
but either way, tremendous match, tremendous ending. Warrior wins the belt.
yes,
So I think everyone knows what number one is on our list. It is the retirement match, Ultimate Warrior versus Macho Man, WrestleMania 7. To me, and I guess you agree too,
yes,
Warrior's greatest match
yes.
ever. I mean, like I said, it's interchangeable.
Should have been for the title. We've discussed that.
Yeah.
Could have been for the title. Could have been title versus career.
Mm-hmm.
They could have did that. Could have happened. We've discussed this on WrestleMania 7's review, Warriors episode. We've done this extensively. Either way, however you want to slice it, we got the match.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just an amazing match that should have been the main event of WrestleMania 7, regardless.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, absolutely. The build up where Macho Man cost him the title, he hit him with the scepter.
Yep.
And then they just, they were really good friends. They were close, so like they planned out the whole match. Macho Man was known for that, for planning like very, very detailed about what he wanted to do. The story they told, the Warrior walking out to the ring instead of running.
Yeah.
Little things like that. I mentioned the WrestleMania 7 review. Things like that.
The jacket was amazing to me. I love the artwork on the jacket.
Oh, yeah. The tight had the title and says means much more than this.
And then on his knee pads, it was his face, Savage's face. I mean, just the artwork was amazing.
And Macho Man kicking out of
Warriors. 5 elbow drops.
Yeah, but how about when the Warrior starts looking up to the gods?
Is it my time?
Is this my destiny? Is this my destiny? Yeah. And he walks out, then he comes back in, and all those elbow drops, and then he puts his foot.
All the shoulder tackles that sent him out of the ring, that he had to come back and get him, and then puts the one foot on him.
Yep. Tremendous. The story that they told, man.
Even the story after that, when Warrior took his jacket and he left, and now you got Savage in the ring, and Sherry's is irate because her career is over too, and the whole reformation of Macho and Elizabeth.
Yeah.
I mean, just the whole thing itself was just what it's all amazing.
About. Yeah, I mean that's what it's all about. I mean, when you talk about wrestling, like that you watch that match, that's what wrestling is all about.
I bet you there was a guy in the boardroom going, "Hey, I think Savage and Warrior should be the main event," and Vince goes, "No, I got something better for you, brother. I got Hogan and Slaughter. I'm gonna put you to sleep."
Yeah. But
thank you.
Yeah, exactly. So that's our Ultimate Warrior countdown, man. You guys let us know your favorite Warrior matches. If maybe your match that you like is not even on this list, let us know. Or if you agree, let us know either way. We'll be continuing with other wrestlers at some point. We're just trying something new. We'll do some top 10 other wrestlers very, very soon.
I'll get an Adam Bomb in there one too for you.
Oh Jesus.
Actually, I think that's probably just a top 1.
Yeah, no, seriously. But so you guys make sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, and we'll see you guys soon.
Take care, guys.